You ready?
Yep.
All right, everybody. I have a special guest with me today. It is Scott Aaron, who is somebody I've met on LinkedIn, and we are LinkedIn buddies. He is a personal trainer, certified personal trainer, but has pivoted away from one-on-one, and he is working on advancing your LinkedIn profile, advancing how you get business, and how you can actually get a lot of leads on LinkedIn. And so I have with me here him today to talk to us about how we can do that as dietitians, how we can improve our profile. But Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. Thank you, Stacy. So my name is Scott Aaron, originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, now in Marlton, New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia. And I was in health and wellness for almost 2 decades, from 1998 to 2016. I owned and operated 3 different health clubs and put in about 65,000 hours of one-on-one personal training time. Did some sports nutrition, did some competitive bodybuilding, and then trained people for shows, doing diets and all that stuff. My father, who will be 68 next month, is still in the fitness game. He still trains people, still loves it. I stopped loving it. And he still competes around the world in all natural raw bench press contests, and he's actually a world record holder. So fitness
Wow.
has always been in my life and always will be. I still keep to a very healthy diet, still work out 5 to 7 days a week. It just wasn't filling me the right way anymore. And the pivot that you spoke about is I started doing more business consulting than personal training. I was always a problem solver, but someone asked me a question that kind of had me thinking about my plan B, which is if you get sick or injured where you physically can't train people or meet with people, how are you going to earn money? And that really stirred the pot, so to speak, and really pushed me into getting online in 2013. And I haven't looked back since. My wife and I, with our consulting firm, we scaled to 7 figures in about 3.5 years. And that's led to 3 best-selling books and a top podcast, and doing trainings now for some of the largest financial firms and medium and large-sized companies around the world. And I go back to everything I learned in being a personal trainer and sports nutritionist. It's all about structure and discipline. So
Yeah.
no matter the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything. So everything that I'm doing now on the business side of consulting and training is just like I was when I was a trainer and nutritionist. I'm just doing it in a different way. And that's what I'm doing now.
Well, that's what I noticed about you is that obviously you worked with people one-on-one before, and you were in this field of wanting to work with people and making them feel better, making them be more successful, being of service in that way. And it's interesting how your pivot is also doing the same thing. You're helping people, you're having them improve their businesses, and which, overall improves their quality of life. And you've also got this fantastic podcast. I think you've got really great guests on there, and you've got great topics. And one of your topics is talking about LinkedIn and how you can use LinkedIn to grow your business, grow your, whether you're working for a company or you're working as an entrepreneur and you are going out on your own with business, or sort of combining the two as a side hustle. And so this recent podcast version had a lot of really great tips that I thought that you might be able to share with our listeners as well, or just give us some more insight on how we can optimize our LinkedIn profiles and reach out to more people.
Yeah. I figured LinkedIn on my own. I didn't take a course or anything, but I was always striving for human connection. And that's what really drew me to LinkedIn, because it's a networking platform. I was tired of the posting and praying and scrolling and trolling on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, for a lack of better words, is a barbecue. It's where people go to hang out. And Instagram is like the Real Housewives of social media. It's all gimmicky. It's all fake. It's all scripted. There's nothing real about it. And what I
My
love,
platform is real.
no, I mean, most people are not. They're showing these highlight reels of their life because they think that's what people want to see. And I'm very omnipresent. I have a very dedicated following on all 3 platforms. But what fills my cup most is LinkedIn, because people are willing to get on the phone. They're willing to take it
Mm.
from online to offline.
It's
And
work. Yeah. Yeah.
the things that I really don't like about Facebook and Instagram is that you really can't tell who's successful and who's not, even though that doesn't matter because
That's so
um,
true.
and the other thing is that people are really unwilling to get on the phone because they've been so overpitched and oversold to that they think they're just going to be sold and pitched to again. So I go to a platform where people want to actively network, and that was LinkedIn. But the other thing is that there were three key things that stood out to me when I started first leveraging it almost 7 years ago to build my business. And that was the age demographic, which is 30 to 55. The average income that people make, which is $100,000 a year or more, and the size of the organic network that you can grow, which is 30,000 before the follow feature kicks in. And I've successfully grown my network from about 500 connections to almost 28,000 in the last 3.5 years. But I discovered and created something called the 4 layers of LinkedIn. I do have a patented program now, which is really awesome and just grateful for. But the way that I describe it is like a wedding cake. It's 4 layers. So if you can picture a wedding cake, you have the big base at the bottom, and then you have a medium tier, a smaller tier, and then you have a figurine at the top of the happy couple. Now, the base of what you need to focus on first is your LinkedIn profile. When Microsoft bought them out about 5.5 years ago, they embedded search engine optimization. So I challenge anyone to go onto Google today after you watch and listen to this and just search for me. Just search Scott Aaron, SCOTTAARON. I guarantee you one of the first 3 search results is going to be my LinkedIn profile.
Your LinkedIn profile. It's so true. And your headline. Yes.
Mhm. Yep. So for me, I started to realize that Microsoft really wanted to help us become more searchable. So there's SEO, there's search engine optimization scattered throughout our profiles, whether that's in our headline, whether it's in the About Me section, the Experience section. All of those things matter. It's one thing to have a quote unquote all-star profile. Anyone can have that, but it's having the right keywords in and out of your profile. So having a professional headshot, having the right background photo. Now, the About Me section is something interesting. There's 3 key things that I always tell people about the About Me section. Number 1 is making sure that it's 200 to 300 words in length. Number 2, you have quantified metrics of success. So income that you help people make, how many people you've helped, quantified numbers. LinkedIn loves that. And 3, a call to action. What are people's next step after reading your About Me section? Should they
Yeah.
email you? Should they
How
visit
to,
your website? Do you want them to call you? You got to give them something to do.
how to work with you. Yeah.
Now, the Experience section, also, you need to list everything. I don't care if you're still doing it. People can go to my profile. I've been out of the fitness industry for almost 5 years now. In 2016, I retired from it. But it's still on my profile. My last gym before I closed it is still on there because it's still a connecting point. I can still relate and connect to trainers and nutritionists and dietitians and gym owners if I need to. It's there as a connecting point. But you also need to have a 2 to 3 sentence description for each of those experience sections because, again, it's all about keyword optimization. You want to make sure that people know why you do what you do and how you do it. Now, probably the most misunderstood but also misrepresented area of your LinkedIn profile is the personal recommendations. I call this the Better Business Bureau of LinkedIn. This is where people go to see how credible you are. And it's something that I've been very, very diligent about building. And I have close to 440 written recommendations now. So I let my clients and those that I've worked with speak to my credibility. I don't have to convince people that I know what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what I'm doing. And I let the people that I worked with say so. And again, there was a woman that just hired me right before this. She listened to my podcast. She went on LinkedIn. She was searching for LinkedIn experts. She looked at my profile, scheduled a call, and she bought one of my courses. And that's how it really works.
Because
Now,
those are like testimonials. And sometimes you'll see a testimonial on a website and you think, gosh, did the person write that, or did the person who's trying to sell me their business write that? And I think that's the beauty of the LinkedIn recommendations is there's no fudging on those. It's exactly what they wrote, and that's what they wrote, and that's what you publish.
It shows who it's from, and they actually have to take the action of
Mhm.
submitting the recommendation and filling it out. It's not
Yeah,
like you can't just like copy and paste something. It actually has
exactly.
to be sent to that account. So, I'm grateful, close to 450 recommendations at this point and counting. My goal is 1,000. And it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. But once the profile is set up, and again, you have to make sure that it is, because you'll know if your profile is optimized or not, because you will have your dashboard will tell you otherwise. If the views of your posts are very low, if the views of your profile are low, if you're not appearing in that many searches. Now, if anyone goes to my website, scottaaron.net, there's a free download on there that goes over exactly how to begin to optimize your profile in 6 simple steps. It's a free gift that anyone can get visiting my website. But the second part is actually building your ideal network. And I think this is the other big
Mhm.
mistake that people make, Stacey, because they spray and pray. They try to connect with anyone and everyone with a pulse. But you got to get niche. You have to get super hyper specific about who you want to connect with. So think about your ideal customer, your ideal client. What industry are they a part of? So for the dietitians, you need to really take a step back and take a look at your current clientele list and make note of what industries those people are from. Are they accountants? Are they lawyers? Are they small business owners? Are they business professionals? Are they CEOs, marketing directors, HR? Whatever it is, if that one person said yes, there are more people within those professions that will also say yes. So when you're building your network, when you're searching and connecting and sending those connection requests, make sure you're connecting with people that are your ideal target market, much like the people that have already said yes to you. Now, the third layer is messaging. And I actually, my podcast episode was on just this, how to craft a message that you're sending to someone. This is where the wheels typically fall off on LinkedIn, because people are just selling and pitching and writing
Selling. Yeah.
these
Yeah.
18 paragraph long drunkalog messages, watch this video, check this link out, schedule a call here. You have to build the relationship first. So I've come up with something called the magic formula, which is a 3-step process to crafting a message that gets a very high response. So if you are connecting with your ideal client, say that you're a certified dietitian, but you have a background also in maybe accounting. In your past life, you did some accounting, but you kind of crossed over into the dietitian world. So accounting is a good connecting point for you, because you know the stress that they're under, and maybe some eating habits that change around tax season and all those things. So it's a good connecting point for you. So you start connecting with other accountants, because that is someone that you can relate to. So when you send the person a message, um, I have a 3-step process of crafting that message. Step 1, you mention the person's name. Hey, Stacy, great to connect to you. The second part I call is lowering the drawbridge. So if anyone is familiar with a bridge, and it's a drawbridge, it goes up when boats want to travel underneath it. And when they don't, drawbridge comes down, traffic can then start flowing back and forth. It is your responsibility to lower that bridge so that person can walk across to the other side to see you. And you do that by letting them know why you're reaching out without selling or pitching. So, hey, Stacy, great to be connected to you. I noticed that you also had an accounting background. I did in my past. Would love to hear how things are going, share more what I'm doing now, to see how we can support each other here on the platform. So I've
Creating
done
that
two,
connection. Yeah.
so I've done 2 things. I bridge the gap. So the person that's getting that message, like, oh, well, they have an accounting background, and, I still am one. So that's why they're connecting. But number 2, I use one of the most powerful words in the English language besides someone's name, and that is the word support. It's been scientifically proven that when someone just reads the word support and says it in their head, it actually causes the brain to release a chemical called oxytocin. This is our feel-good brain chemical. So just like dopamine or endorphins or serotonin or cortisol, which is our stress hormone, this person is feeling good as they're reading this message. And the third and final part is a call to action, a CTA. You have to ask in order to get. You have to ASK to GET. Statements lead to nowhere, but questions will always lead to answers. And I would finish by saying, do you have any time this week or next week for a call or a Zoom? So you always state their name, reason for reaching out with a call to action, and you will get responses. Now, the figurine on the top of this beautiful wedding cake is content creation, which is absolutely number one on LinkedIn. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to commit to producing content as much as you do on Facebook and Instagram. It's completely different. I always recommend 3 pieces of content a week. 1 post, 1 video, 1 article. Now, I don't care what you're going to post. And I know you may be listening to this and thinking, oh my God, I hate being on camera. I don't want to do a video. People are going to think I don't know. I mean, again, those are stories in your head. Video is the number one way to connect to an audience right now. Now, the one thing I'll tell you is that there's 2 things that you want to do if you're going to create content. Number 1, educate. Educate your audience on something they may not know. And number 2, inform them. Maybe something has changed. Maybe something that you've done personally that has helped you, that if they actually work that into their daily life, that will help them as well. The other thing, you always want to end your content with a call to action. You always have to be in research mode. So I am always researching what my network wants. I will do polls once a week. I will always ask questions. What was most impactful? What did you resonate most with? What did you take away from this? Because when you can start to identify your network's pain points, now you can create and craft content that is speaking directly to them instead of creating content that you want to talk about. I always tell people you always want to put yourself in the passenger seat of your content creation, not the driver's seat. The driver's seat, you're actually self-serving producing that content because it's what you want to say.
What you wanted to say. I think it took me a while to learn that one, but you're right. Like you want to be, like you talked about, to support them. Obviously, if you want to support them, if you want to, walk the walk, is knowing what it is that they want to be supported with and how you can be of service. And it comes from them, not me, not what I want to know about.
People tend to overcomplicate the process, and the more people you connect with, the more victorious you're going to be in your business. And it's a law of numbers. I mean, I always seek to have about 15 to 25 discovery calls every single week, not because I have to, because I want to. I love people. I love connecting with people. I love sharing the opportunity of connecting and collaborating. I follow the teachings of the science of getting rich. Instead of living in a world of competition and comparison, live in a world of creation and collaboration. And that's what I seek to and strive to do every single day.
Yeah, these are great. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for all those words. I think that's super helpful as everyone's getting to understand LinkedIn a little bit better and how you can optimize your experience on LinkedIn for business, for collaboration, for ideas, content ideas as well. So Scott, I so appreciate you sharing all this information with our viewers, and I'll put some links to how they can find you, all the work that you do, your podcast and all that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy. Grateful for you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.